This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the CabinZero Military Backpack 28 liter, which I've been testing for the past 9 months. Let's dive in. So the primary pack material that we're working with here is 1000D nylon. Very durable, no issues with anything to do with the materials really. They've held up pretty well over the past 9 months. I've taken this on quite a few trips on the airplane quite a few times and no real issues to talk about. It does pick up, I don't even know what to say, like pet hair pretty well, dust and stuff like that. It was actually in my kitchen for a while because I had like a hook there and then I got some flour on it and then the flour was on it for quite a while. But it is pretty easy to clean, you just have to take the time to do it. So overall pretty happy with those materials. We have YKK zippers, pretty big beefy ones here, 10 RC on the main compartment there. It's got a little something poking out, but they are lockable so you can bring a lock and just stick it through that hole there. So that way it's a little bit of theft deterrence for, if that's a word, for this pack. Obviously if someone wants to get in, they're gonna get in, but maybe it'll slow someone down or stop them from going into your pack. We have 4 compression straps on the sides. They are Duraflex buckles, very easy to use and very just snappy and just reliable. So you really can cinch down this pack when you need to. So this is built to be a personal size item. That has worked for me on Spirit, Delta, and I think that's actually it, just Spirit and Delta flights. So no issues with that. And you can just cinch it down and make it smaller if you do really overpack this thing. But the dimensions do come pretty close at least to what you're supposed to take on those flights. So these are handy and you can attach gear to those if you want, but as you can see we have all of this webbing here on the front side and that's where you can attach a bunch of different gear. If you don't like this webbing, there are different packs from CabinZero that are a very similar style but don't have this webbing, but I just like this because it does add that, you know, you can attach stuff to it and in a pinch if you have too much stuff to go inside, you can put it on the outside. As you can see, we have a pretty big logo here. Not a huge fan of it, and you can't really get around it. You can put a patch over it maybe. And once I was actually in the airport and I saw someone with the CabinZero pack and they Sharpied it out. And that didn't look great, but I don't know. It is pretty loud and in your face, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me that much. Over here on this side, let me pop these open just to give you a better look. We do have a water bottle pocket, and it's got some little bit of stretchy mesh there. But as you can see, I don't have a bottle in there because I use a 32-ounce Nalgene, and that does not fit inside of there, but 12 to 16-ounce bottles should be fine, and you can button it away if you're not going to be using it, and it just kind of makes it look a little bit nicer. Kind of hard to do, and I don't want to waste my time showing you that on screen. But overall, pretty happy with how this thing has held up so far over 9 months. As you can see, there's some pet hair on it and stuff like that, but it's holding up pretty well. Moving on to the harness system here, as you can see, we have quite a bit of padding and quite a bit of aeration as well. So we have this big kind of beefy padding here and these 2 strips, and then it gets wider down here towards the base. And I found this to be pretty comfortable, especially if you pack the interior correctly, because this material doesn't have a ton of structure. So if you don't pack the interior correctly, it can be kind of lumpy and bumpy and not the most comfortable. But if you do try to kind of be like, just think about how you're packing the main compartment. And if you have a laptop in the back here, it does help quite a bit with the structure. But if you don't, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. So that's something to think about. But you do have a ton of padding and aeration on both these here. So pretty comfortable, and also keeps things kind of cool because you have all of that aeration. On the shoulder straps, we have these load lifters here at the top, which are helpful just to kind of shift the weight around, especially if you're filling this thing completely up to use for 1 bag travel. It's going to be heavy, so it's nice to be able to do that. We also have these kind of like a daisy chain coming down the shoulder straps, and you have a sternum strap, which I have in the bottom loop right now. But you can move it to put it in any of these if you want to. It is a little bit of an odd design here. It's just kind of like a loop that you undo and reattach, so you can't take this off if you don't want to use it. I've left it on. It does help to kind of just bring things together a little bit, at least in my opinion, but it's nice that you can take it off if you want to. And then a bit of extra material down here, but we have strap keepers here. We also have strap keepers on the sides over here. And one other way you can carry it is with the side handle here, or the handle on the top, which is handy for when you're stowing it in the overhead bin if you're using a carry-on, or under your seat. You can kind of grab it quickly if it's a personal item. So if you're finding this video helpful so far, make sure you throw a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. But as you can see now, I have the pack on, I'm wearing it, and it kind of feels like a brick, especially when you have it completely packed out. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I'm not uncomfortable right now, but it's just very like compact and dense. So it's just because it is a 28 liter pack and it's trying to maximize everything into that size that can work for a personal sized item on an airline. It's just very compact, and you're gonna get that out of almost any around 28-liter pack that's trying to meet those dimensions. So it just depends on your frame size. So I have a bit of a larger frame, so it's not really riding too low for me. It's a good kind of center of gravity for me personally, but depending on your frame, that might not be the case. And right now, as you can see, that the back panel is really meshing to my back really nicely. That's kind of, I have a nice laptop in the back to kind of make things nice and smooth. But again, if you don't do that, the back panel can be a little bit lumpy, and then it doesn't really conform to your back as well. So it comes down to how you pack and also what you're bringing, because you can't always really decide how it's gonna fit in your pack. So before we dive into the compartments, I just wanna say that this is my personal bag. I bought this for my personal use, and I've liked it so much over the past 9 months that we're actually doing the full review process. So one of the main reasons I got this pack is because of how simple the design is. There's only 2 pockets, and as you'll see, they're very simple, so you can use it for a wide variety of things. And I take different trips where I'm bringing, you know, a full camera kit, sometimes just a few cameras, and sometimes hiking stuff. I never really know what I'm gonna bring, so I like that I can do a lot of different things with this pack, and I'd now like to show you why. So the secondary compartment here is a side access, so when you have it on your shoulder, you can whip it around and get in there. There isn't any organization inside of here. As you can see, I just have my phone and wallet in there, so I can have quick access to those and keep them out of my pocket. If I was walking around all day, I probably wouldn't do that, because it's pretty easy for someone to get in there if they want to. I'd probably just keep them in my pocket or a sling on my front. But as you can see, no organization inside of here, but you can kind of see some of my gear from the main compartment is pushing in here. So if you have this completely packed out in the main compartment, it's gonna be kind of tricky to stuff stuff inside of this pocket because it does share that space. You're always gonna be able to get some stuff in there, but just depends on, again, how thick the gear you're trying to stick in there is and how much stuff you have in the main compartment. So if you're just trying to put a book in there, that's fine. There isn't a ton of padding here, or I should say there's no padding, a ton of protection is the word I was looking for. So I wouldn't put like a tablet here or anything like that, unless you're just, you know, quickly like in the airport or something like that. But even then, I'm not sure that I would. But it is nice to be able to just have a space to put quick access gear, like if you're waiting in the line to get food and you just want to have your wallet or phone or whatever here to use your Apple Pay, or I can't remember what the other one's called, Samsung, Google Pay, whatever it is. And then you can just do that quickly and then put it back where it goes after you're done. So that way you don't hold up the line and you just have quick access to stuff. I've talked about this enough. I'm gonna zip that back up. So another kind of security feature with these compression straps is that they go over the main compartment zipper. The bottom ones not so much, but these top ones do. So you can't get through there without popping them open, and that kind of makes a little, not a loud noise, but you can kind of hear it a little bit. So that's, I don't know, I like that. I've never had a problem with anyone trying to get in my bag, but a lot of the YouTube comments make me think that I should. So nice to have that little added security feature. But as you can see, that zipper goes a long way around. So you really have a nice clamshell opening here. And it doesn't open all the way because I have some bulkier gear in the organizers here, but we'll get to that. We have 2 pockets here. One on the top is mesh, on the bottom is a liner material. So you can see what's in this one, you can't see what's in this one. You can also use these for clean and dirty, like socks and underwear, because you can put the dirties where there's no, like this, no smell or anything can really get out. And the clean ones up here because you can see what's in there and see how many you have left, etc. But what I like to do when I take this pack is if I'm not taking a bunch of tech, I kind of use this as a tech area. So I just have a whole bunch of stuff up here actually. 3 cables, a pair of corded headphones, because I like to have those just in case. And then my 2 power bricks, and I think my battery bank is in there as well, big old battery bank. That's one of the things you could see in the other pocket. Moving up here, I just have a big pair of over here headphones. So those fit in there, so pretty big pocket. But as you can see now, it's kind of easier for me to get into the rest of the main compartment. So quite a bit of stuff in here, just a pouch from Evergoods that kind of works as a tech pouch or a toiletry pouch, depending on what you're using it for. A packable jacket, and then 3 big old packing cubes. So a ton of space to work with here. Not a bunch of organization. We have a laptop sleeve on the back here. And I said this in the review, it's one of the worst laptop sleeves I've ever used, but it doesn't bother me so much because I know a lot of trips I'm not taking my computer, or if I do, I just put a case on it. There's really no padding here and it's not raised from the bottom. But when I'm not using it, it doesn't take up really any space at all because of how thin this material is. So if you're traveling with a laptop on every trip and you don't like using a case, this probably isn't the backpack for you. But if you're only taking it sometimes or you're okay with using a case, you can slide it in here. Not a huge deal for me personally, but I understand that it will be for other users. It just works really well for how I use this pack. But no other organization to speak of in here. If you're not using this for a laptop, you could put other stuff inside of here. Just depends, what you're bringing. You put a tablet in here. Again, I wouldn't put anything in here without a case, especially if you're using this for airline travel. But overall, again, I really like this pack because there's nothing in here, so I can put whatever I want in here. I put a big old camera cube in the bottom and then some packing cubes on top, or if I'm going for a longer trip where I need a bunch of clothes, I just load this thing up with clothes, and really, you can do whatever you want with it, and that's what I like most about it. So there you have it, the CabinZero Military Backpack 28 liter. If you want to see us do a review of the other sizes that this pack comes in, drop a comment down below, and we'll see you on the next one.